California Nurses Association for striking in sympathy with us. Let's hear it for the CNA. And let's not forget the brothers from Stationary Engineers Local 39 for being out here with us. Thank you. And let's hear it for the NUHW leaders who are out here on the picket line. And let's spend 1 second talking about a few facts, because there's a lot of numbers that have been thrown around. And if you've seen Kaiser's response in the media, they're saying they're not trying to eliminate retirement. Of course they are. They want to get rid of our defined benefit pension plan just so they can do the same thing with SEIU, just so they can do the same thing with the CNA, just so they can do the same thing with Local 39. And they're not being truthful to the press because they have the reason to hide that they have made $5.6 billion in the last 2 years. And if there's any company in the United States that can certainly afford to pay a fair pension plan and fair wages and benefits and appropriately staff their facilities, it's Kaiser Permanente. There's no crisis in funding at Kaiser. In fact, they're going around to the communities and raising people's premiums because they have the ability to do it. In fact, we've worked with the state to force them to roll back the prices that they're charging folks, because Kaiser, no profit is too much. $5.6 billion over the last 2 years. So what does that mean for executives? We heard about George Halverson making $9 million a year. There's another 15 jamokes who work for Kaiser who are also making another $1 million a year. On top of George Halverson and Bernard Tyson and you name it, Greg Adams and all these other guys who are making more than $1 million a year. Anybody here make $1 million a year? No. Do any of you have 8 pension plans like the Kaiser executives have? Now when we heard about this, we thought, well, maybe they have a choice between one of the 8 pension plans. They can't have 8 pension plans, do they? Well, the reality is they have 8 pension plans. Do you know of any place in the world where an executive receives 8 pension plans? Yeah, right there, Kaiser Permanente. So we're at the bargaining table with them, and they say, we want to eliminate your defined benefit pension plan. And we said no. The latest Kaiser lie that's going around is, the union's been at the bargaining table and they haven't responded to our proposal since April. Have you heard that? Yeah. Here's what our response is: no. And no means no. We're not going to accept the takeaway on defined benefit. We're not going to accept the takeaway on retiree health. We're not going to accept the takeaway on health insurance. No means no. And now it's time for Kaiser to say yes. Thank you.